Get a phone call. But yeah, all stablecoins are not made equal. But you can go to yeah. So this bill was introduced last year, and it got signed July 4th. Last year, around the same time the BBB got signed. Um, which is ironic, you know what I mean? Because then that following week, the Clarity Act got passed by the House. So both of these legislations work hand in hand. Um, Stablecoins compared to USD, stablecoins, digital payments, they're very transparent because they're on the blockchain. They're borderless. So borderless just means it's a commodity. It ain't like um, it have the same value wherever it goes. Um, Deflationary. So um, yeah, I remember it was a bank called Silicon Valley Bank that collapsed like 2-3 years ago. But it's like that big tech bank in Stockton or in LA. I don't know where in California.
Somewhere in
But
Cali, yeah.
you're right. And Circle had most of their money in that bank. They had like $10 billion in that bank. And when it collapsed, you seen USDC depeg from $1. And to mitigate that, they burnt off 1 billion tokens. So it's just way easier to burn and mint tokens rather than and burn and print money, you know. Um and all crypto is minted, kind of like a coin in real life, but it's minted from treasuries. And we'll get into that as this discussion goes on. Now USD is analog, it's physical, cash is king. And this is all ideology. This whole conversation is about ideology. It's about people getting rid of that ideology of having physical cash and cash being in the cloud or on a blockchain. And now, cash is very untraceable. I think only crypto that's like really I wouldn't say untraceable, but it's hard to kind of find is Monero. But that's why you see it being delisted everywhere because it's very that's the only, real crypto people use on the black market when it comes to being tracked. Um the dollar is centralized from the Federal Reserve. And the dollar is inflationary because it's not backed by nothing. So they got to keep printing and printing and printing, you know. Um, and it's printed. So for where we're going from a circular economy, printing money, it will destroy the so-called economy. Well, not the economy, but the environment because of the burn and the trees and these are the things that they're talking about, like saving paper and this and that. Even like when COVID happened, they made everybody get rid of COVID can be on the cash. So it's an ideology thing that people got to grasp that your money is not going to be physical anymore. It's just going to be in the cloud. So next slide. Okay, types of stable coins. This bill, if you read this bill will tell you that it's three type of stable coins, but there's two subcategories. The first three categories is federal, state, and non-bank. We all know federal stable coins is like CBDCs that everybody talk about. And the Federal Reserve have one called Fed Coin, and you can look that up with Project Cedar, the New York Federal Reserve. They already created it. Even if you look at the BIS money flower, you'll see that they recognizing that this is a actual federal stablecoin. Um, and this is where that statement I made about all stable coins will not be made equal. This is where they separate. So when it comes to federal, those will be government coins that they use to transact with each other. State stable coins. So every state will have its own currency in a way. And I kind of break that down as I go through this. And then there's non-bank. So state stable coins, for example, Florida got their own stable coin that they're creating, but they're backing it with gold or they're backing it with RWAs. Same with Wyoming. They have their own stable coin when they minted it on H bar. So, and then you have the non-bank stable coins, which is like Circle, RLUSD, PayPal USD, Tether. So those are the familiar ones that everybody is familiar with. Now there's other stable coins that nobody talks about, like the Visa and MasterCard. They're creating stable coins. Stripe is creating stable coins. And then there's the subcategories where your dollar, your physical dollar is $1, but a stable coin will be pegged 1-to-1 to $1. So that's what I mean by your money will now be in the air with stable coins. And then now the second subcategory will be an algorithm. So it ain't pegged to $1, it's pegged to how many people are going to be using it. So it's predictable. Kind of like walking upstairs. As you go up, it flattens out. It's stable, but it's predictable. That doesn't mean it's going to always be $1. It may be $1 or it may be $5. It may be 3, it may be 10. So it's an algorithm. You know, I'm sorry.
No, I'm thinking that visual you just gave me. Like you said, it could be 5 here or whatever, and I'm just like, could I really call that stable? That just means like thinking about it.
So yeah, so basically it's stable because it's predictable. So I'm not saying it's going to be up and down like a stock. So
Oh,
let's say, I'm listening.
no, I'm just asking like, it's algorithmic.
Right. So let's just say you got a whole bunch of people using 100 million stable coins. It can't just be $1 if I got 100. You see what I'm saying? But the less people using it, the lower the price can be.
Okay.
But it will remain stable. Like it's not going to fall $5, $10. It's just going to gradually go up or go down from an algorithmic standpoint. But
Gotcha.
those will be like cryptos, which are they'll be cryptos, but they'll be labeled as stable coins. Like Stronghold is one that I like. It's a stable coin, but it's pegged from an algorithm. So, and it can't just be $1 because it's only 100 billion Stronghold ever. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the utility and the use case of people using it, that's what's going to, and the adoption is what's going to drive that stability up and down. And I want to say people, I'm talking about businesses, entities, you know, communities, those type of things. So when it comes to states, right, you got to be a component of the state. Meaning, right now, if I wanted to go to New York with my money, I can. And and this is where things change. You have to make yourself a commodity because every state, county, city is going to be its own economy, but they're going to be interoperable with other cities, counties, and states through treaties. So by you making yourself a commodity, meaning you take your dollar and move it into these cryptos and stable coins that's going to be used within these economies. So, and once you make yourself a commodity, you can go anywhere and still have that same value because these will be interoperable. Even when you read the Clarity Act, you seen that they reference MICA, MICA, as legislation. So, everybody's aligning with each other or being interoperable with each other through treaties and legislation. So it'd be the same way where, you probably be in Atlanta, but if you want to go to Decatur, you got to have that same value. Your money has to be that. So I'm not saying this is going to happen right now. It's just that as time goes on, we see that automation is taking over the workforce. So making money, making USD will transform into making stable coins. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and this is not nothing bad that's happening. It's just that our money is not being our money is being transferred from the ground into the cloud to where that's what they mean by cashless. And I know people be like, oh, it's one world government and the Bible and this and that. To an extent that's true, but it's not like it's gonna be one government. It's just that it's gonna be one global economy, but all these governments gonna be interoperable with each other. And you can see that with legislation. You can see that with how they using crypto, why is Ripple partnering with all these countries we beefing with? It's things like that. If it was, real beef, why y'all using an American company to tokenize all your assets? So that's what I'm saying. Just broaden your horizon and get rid of that ideology of centralized ideology when everything gonna be decentralized but interoperable. Um, any questions before we move on? Well, let's go to the next slide, brother. So this is the nitty gritty. So stablecoins is digital payments. Have anybody heard of Stripe? Like Stripe, the payment processor for like Shopify and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stripe. So now let's talk about treasuries. So what's happening is all these stable coins are creating their own treasury. So basically it's like we control the amount of stable coins that's going to be in circulation. If it's too much, we're going to burn them. If we need to put more out there, we're going to mint them. You see that happening a lot with Circle and Tether. So Stripe has created their own blockchain called Tempo, where it's not a treasury, but it's like a blockchain for other stable coins to move across, but they don't have a native token. And I found that fascinating. I'm like, oh, so they just building a so-called warehouse or marketplace for these stable coins to move across. So that's why so many stable coins. It's so many stable coins because there's going to be so many economies. But all these economies are going to be interoperable with each other. So within these treasuries, every stable coin ain't going to be equal. So from a retail standpoint, I don't think nobody's going to be using Fed coin ever, from a retail standpoint. From a state standpoint, if you're a resident of Georgia, let's say you're a resident of Maryland, there'll probably be their own currency that they use to facilitate their businesses. But that doesn't mean within these digital economies that you will see other stable coins and payments being accepted. You just got to make yourself a commodity. So when it comes to acquiring crypto and stable coins, that's why reading white papers is so important, because you have to know, like, is this for payments or is this for a special tool that I need to be using? So, like, if I go to Walmart and buy groceries, they're not going to be like, oh, I'll take coin, because the coin is not for payments. Or I'm going to take H-bar. It's not for payments. But you see states building their payment infrastructure on top of H-bar. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So when it comes to meme coins and rewards, you kind of see that now with apps. Like you got the McDonald's app, Starbucks app. So money is going to transform to where it ain't going to be about making money. It's going to be about control, not from a concentration camp standpoint or nothing like that. From control of attention, control of brand and fan base. If I got 11 million people buying my coffee at Starbucks, but I issue out this meme coin. That's why the SEC came out and said meme coins are collectibles. Because if you can collect these coins, you can redeem them for rewards, which is what? Free coffee, free breakfast sandwiches, free Stanley Cup mugs, whatever it is. But that redeem reward is what causes the currency to go up, because you got all these people, which is the energy and that's the asset that's backing The meme coin is that I got all these people using it. You see what I'm saying? So and you see that with video games, you see that with uh you gonna see it with sports teams too. Even in upland, like it's crazy. Like you're gonna see a lot of companies using their own coin as a collectible for people to redeem rewards. Like if I go to a Falcons game, I probably got the Falcon coin that I could redeem seats or redeem a hot dog or I can redeem um, a jersey, whatever it is. It's all about. That's what it's going to be.
Or
Yeah.
hey, I don't know if this is the same thing, but I did notice that there are certain stores that allow you to use like Apple Pay and like Google Pay and all that. But what I realize is Walmart is probably one of the few places they've kind of like monopolized a payment system. Like they don't allow you to pay tap with anything unless you have their app. So you would have to download their app first, and then basically the transactions will have to go through that application before
You
you can do like a digital pay. You can't digital pay straight from your Apple Pay or anything. They don't allow outside processors. Like they
know why
make
that is?
uh,
You know why?
I mean, could
No.
you
I
not
could.
really?
All right. So you can look this up. Apple, because majority of Americans use Apple products, right? And Apple Pay was saying, "Hey, all the transactions that y'all gonna be having on these blockchains, we want 30% of them because these transactions gonna be flowing through iPhones." So Amazon and Walmart created their own API. Remember, I told you to look up the Quant Overledger and see what payment APIs that's connected to the blockchain already through the Quant Overledger. And you'll see Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung. You'll see Amazon Pay, Walmart Pay. So it's about control. And that's that form of control that I'm talking about. It's not that I'm trying to put people inside jails and, I'm trying to keep you from shopping elsewhere. I just want whatever value that's here, I want it to stay here. You see what I'm saying?
I can see that.
So, but yeah, they wanted 30% of those transactions. And, and Amazon and Walmart created their own API to where, hey, we don't have to use Apple Pay anymore because we can use our own. Now, is Apple Pay more, let's say, accessible and more smoother than Walmart Pay? Yes, it is. But, as time go on, Walmart to get better and things of that nature. But yeah, that's good. That's a good observation you made. Um, an example of these meme coin rewards. A couple years ago, they came out something called the eCash Act. Not saying this is verbatim. I'm saying that hey, this eCash Act was introduced like in 2022, where it's not blockchain. It's a hardware where money is flowing through this hardware, meaning this system, and basically it'd be the same thing with let's say Starbucks. It'd be hardware to where, hey man, only way you can spend these bucks, these Starbucks dollars, whatever you want to call them, buck dollars, you only can spend them in Starbucks. Only thing tricky about anything else is that most of these companies own each other. So like, Pizza Hut, Baskin Robbins, KFC, all of them companies are under the same umbrella. So they probably have their own stable coin or let's say meme coin that they can use to redeem at each of those restaurants. So and that's why you've been seeing so much merger and acquisitions because it's like, man, we just want control. Uh, and basically, that's what it is. Now, the thing that's not on this, um, the thing that's not on this slide that I'm thinking about is universal basic income. Now, that's a whole different ballgame. Um, it's not mandatory. It won't be like forcing people to use it. But if you don't understand that the dollar is not the dollar anymore, and you still have that fiat mindset or that ideology, then you'll start seeing, UBI, basically states will institute their own welfare to people who don't know how to operate self-sufficiently in the blockchain world or in a deflationary digital economy. And that's where things are going, and it's not like, oh, people are like, oh, it's going to be by 2030. No, it's happening right before your eyes. Is right now. The fact that they're about to vote on the Clarity Act shows you that, hey, things are being expedited. It's crazy. And it's not to scare nobody, because it's not nothing to be scared of, especially now. Now is the opportunity to be moving your money, your fiat, off fiat, because there's going to be a day, and this is why that bill got passed, because there's going to be a day where that Federal Reserve bank note that's in your pocket, they're going to be like, hey, man, we ain't using it no more. We don't recognize it anymore. And with payments, how it goes is, as long as two parties agree on the payments that they use, the courts don't need to step in through smart contracts. So if I'm buying, let's just say Butler, let's just say let's say you cut hair and I'll go pay for a haircut. If both of us agree that we're using Circle, the courts don't got to step in, because we both agree on this smart contract that we both are cool with using a different form of payment than fiat. So, but this is a great opportunity for people to be like, hey, man, now is the time to start looking at these blockchains, how I'm going to be using it, especially when it comes to that NIL and things of that nature. Because your avatar, like, I'll get into that later, but yeah, just payments alone, like, it's going to be a great opportunity, but you have to make yourself a commodity. Like, you have to get rid of this centralized mind that a dollar gonna be working everywhere you go. It ain't gonna be like that, because even you start a Fed now, like, I went in the Chase like 2 years ago, and even last year, I was like, hey, y'all got Fed now on your website. Do y'all know what that is? They don't know. So it's like, the Federal Reserve is moving forward, because they know, man, we're gonna get rid of this fiat that is not backed by nothing, and we're gonna go straight into blockchain on Fed now. And Fed wire. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm like, all right, now you gotta just start changing your ideology of, I'm no longer gonna be thinking centralized. And if I do travel, I need to have currencies that's going to be recognized for its value wherever I go, whether I'm from China, Japan, whether I'm in Africa. So that'll be, but USDC is the most interoperable stablecoin right now. Now, is Visa and MasterCard making their own? Yes, I think it's going to be good. But Visa actually came out and said, we're going to let people use Circle for payments. So it's just an ideology switch. It ain't like the world is in it and money is not going. It's just switching your ideology from the ground to the clouds. So, well, do anybody have any questions?
I think I had that same question last time. You was like, a dollar might not be a dollar. And you already addressed it though. Just thinking about how that, if that dollar might not be a dollar, it's just like a more expanded version of how the world works now anyway, as it relates to like currency to currency transfers, and that dollar being more or less valuable. Not the dollar itself, but I'm just using the dollar as an example. But your currency being more or less valuable depending on the exchange rate of who you're trading with. I guess that's what you were saying. But on a more spread out scale. So instead of country to country, it's service to service or something like that. Or like you said, state to state or something.
Well, let's say service to service, because these states only got treaties because they serve each other. You see what I'm saying? So, but all this has everything to do with the circle economy, which is what we're already in. It's just that the ideology is not there, and that's why you're seeing so much recycle commercials. You're probably seeing a lot of green energy, stuff like that. People trying to renew things, because that's what it's about. So, like when I was in Georgia, I used to work for a chicken farm, and well, I used to process a lot of chickens. And reason why they had to do that is because the demand for chicken for all these restaurants. And what's happening is all that's going to be shrunk. Like it ain't about mass production no more. It's about subscription. Meaning if I gotta serve 1 million people, I just need to make enough for 1 million people. I don't need to be making 2 million batches, 2 million people in batches and wasting that 1 million worth of product because of mass production and capitalism. That's not the case anymore. So it's gonna look like things are shrinking, but it's not. It's just gonna be being repurposed. Even like with the farming industry, you seen, most of those farmers in Iowa and all these other, they had contracts with the government through USAID. And when you cut out all that stuff, it messed up a lot of farms and a lot of money. So now he's trying to pass a bill to get them $12 billion, probably 150 a piece. Amen. But that centralized concept got to be broken because now it's about community. And that's kind of why I wanted to create this space with you guys, because it's like, hey, we need community. We need to actually start talking. We need to start planning. We need to start having these conversations on money. And I know a lot of older people, they be like, oh, I'm gonna put all my money in gold and silver. That's cool because they're commodities. But if you can't transition that value of gold and silver into the blockchain through tokenization or whatever, because I know Texas, they're trying to do that, where you can turn in your gold and silver and they'll put the value of it on a debit card for you. So if you can't transfer that into the blockchain, it will be useless for you, because it's kind of like showing up to a drag race with a horse. Like, man, we ain't using that no more. You see what I'm saying? So it's just ideology.
So we got some crazy analogies, bro.
I'm just saying, bro.
Bro, they show up to the drag race with a horse. That's tough.
Amazing.
You already know that's getting clipped, bro.
But yeah, that's just what it is. It's just ideology. Like, man, we just got to get rid of this centralized ideology. And that's all it is. It ain't nothing happening that nobody can't figure out. Like, everybody in here is smart enough to figure all this stuff out. Like, it's very easy. And I used to stress out about it. And like, even like when we first started talking and you had me on with Zach, and he kind of flipped out on me because it kind of scared him. And I get it now, but it's like, it's nothing to be scared of. You just got to know what's going on. I'm listening.
No, I was just saying. I mean, shit, it scared me at first. So I
Right.
mean, I'm still
Right.
kind of.
And there's nothing to be scared of. It's just about just changing your ideology of that centralized mindset of I could just leave and go to Tennessee with the same money I got in my pocket. No, you need to start looking at what blockchains you're going to be using from peer to peer, whatever it is.
You know the mindset
And
I keep, bro, in these situations. The mindset that I try to keep in these situations is like, think about when the iPhone first dropped. I don't know if iPhone was the first phone with touch, but I know it was the first mainstream phone where it literally got rid of all of its buttons. And not even outside of other businesses like the Blueberries and stuff. What was it called?
BlackBerry.
BlackBerry. I said Blueberry. That's funny as hell. But the BlackBerry phone and other companies like I'm looking at it like that's impossible. That's not gonna work. Like there's no way there will ever be a world without buttons. Now this is just low level comparison, but just something so simple like us not using buttons no more on our phones, and the commonality is touching our screens, and how quick that came and established itself. And I think about how just all technologies come around, and even when Bitcoin first came out, like I'm thinking about the first time I heard Bitcoin in college. And I'm like, well, that's some BS. Nobody's never going to get rid of the dollar. Like, nobody's never going to respect that enough. And I look at all the people, including myself, that has ever been skeptical or married to ideologies where you're refusing to change with the times, and then you see that shit pass you by. Like, you literally get to look back and see, like, damn, Bitcoin was like a serious thing, and people have like changed their lives. And Bitcoin is just like the beginning of whatever the hell else is going to happen over the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Like, I don't even know.
Let's say 2 years, in the next 2 years max. You know what I mean? So,
In general, like the world is
right,
going to be unrecognizable by the time I get old, but I'm here now. You see
right,
what I'm saying? So it's like
right.
I got to keep that mindset. Like it sounds far fetched and crazy to me now until it's the norm for my great grandkids 50 years from now. You see what I'm saying? So I try to
Right.
keep that mindset.
And that's all it is. And because you even said that, you have nothing to be afraid of, bro. All you got to do is start changing. And Brad Garlinghouse said something crazy. He said once money started moving as fast as information, to where you don't got to sit here and go through ACH no more, the automated clearinghouse, where everybody pinching off your money before they give it to you. No, man, it's just peer to peer, whatever, just straight back and forth. And once that happens, the world would transform so fast because you don't got to wait no more. How long it take to buy a house? And now I could just put a house on a smart contract with a title, and I could put all the title history on the back of it. You see what I'm saying? And then they doing it now because Proppy was the first people, the companies, to do that, where the tokenized houses on NFTs and tokenize the business of it and start selling it. And now they raised $100 million to tokenize title companies. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Things are changing. So it ain't about people being in concentration or black people being at the totem pole, end of the totem. It ain't about that. Now, if you don't change your ideology, you're going to be like that dude who brought a horse to the racetrack. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's where you're going to be, but you can't sit here and blame nobody for you not evolving.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So, and this is the best time to start because everything is so low. Like, it's so low. Like, man, you could just like let's use the prison story analogy like we used last time, to where 500 buns is two cases of cigarettes, whatever it is. Now I can just buy 2 cases of cigarettes for $3, but then when everything switches, now that 3 cases of cigarettes turn into what we're equivalent to, let's say $500-$600 from, you know what I'm saying? Like, because the scarcity and the ideology switched. But what I do think is this economy is going to be tailored more for the younger generation and moving forward. But anybody like older, because the average age in America is 40. So that's why it's going to be hard for us to grasp what's going on. But if we can get past that and evolve, we have no way of failing. Especially if we got enough people in community. That's all it's about. But people got to get rid of that centralized ideology that a dollar is a dollar. That's not the case. Because that's what you're seeing with the Venezuela thing right now.
What you mean by that?
Venezuela holds majority of the oil, right? They got the highest oil deposit right now. But you seen how China and Russia was always over there. You know, they cover it up. Oh, it's about drugs. No, it ain't. They was finna, Russia is a big dog when it comes to oil. And you saw that during 2020 when it was like, hey, we're not trading with the USD no more. Either you use the digital ruby, whatever their currency are, or Bitcoin. So they was trying to get rid of the petrodollar, not the fiat that's in your pocket, the petrodollar. So it's like $3. It's like 3 types. It's the fiat dollar, the petrodollar, and then it's treasuries. And you seen them, they are dropping treasuries like crazy. But what they was trying to do is, if Venezuela and Russia can drop, the dollar dominates 20 to 30% because they control a lot of the oil in the world by countries not trading oil.
Yeah.
That will cause a domino effect to the dollar that's in your pocket. So that ideology so now you're seeing Venezuelans dumping their money because it's not worth anything. You see what I'm saying? So, you know what's crazy with the Ukraine thing? I'm gonna just say this because it's on my mind. Nobody talks about how Feller got a Nobel Peace Prize for giving Ukrainians UBI. through USDC. So they was paying them stable coins through UBI, and they got a Nobel Peace Prize for that.
Through UBI.
Yeah, they was giving them universal basic income through stable coins. Who gonna go to work during war? Nobody. So to keep that economy afloat, they just went straight digital. Like that's just what it is. They just went digital, and you know they went digital because when the wars first started, they didn't ask for guns and all this and that. They asked for crypto. The world sent them $50 million worth of crypto and stable coins. So they became a hot commodity in the digital space in the digital nations because they were all right, our old economy finna tank anyway with this war. Let's start moving digital economy.
Yeah, I didn't peep that. I didn't really catch on to that when that happened. I thought I was confused at first. Why would they accept that?
Right. So I think war is the biggest instrument to use to kill this ideology from a global standpoint to make everybody move off this dollar. You know, because even we don't hold the most dollars. We like number 12. Like we already getting off of it. So that's what I'm like, man, this is it's all about ideology. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody being smarter than nobody being better at nothing, because everybody gonna be on the same playing field. But now is the time to start competing. If you wait until everything switch over, then you'll have the same mindset of, man, the white man trying to, and that's not even the case right now. It's all about ideology.
Aside from war, you think they use black swan events to
Oh
orchestrate
yeah,
and stuff like that?
yeah, all day long.
The reason I say that is because, like I said, I didn't know what the stock market was until like
COVID.
maybe mid to end of 2020, like mid 2020, I guess, whatever, somewhere
Me
around that line.
either.
But that's when I really like when you get into that world, that finance world, you start looking at certain pieces of news, and then they started talking about black swan events. And then when I started reflecting on it, maybe like a year or two after COVID, I started realizing like everything, certain things that were like orchestrated during that time, it felt strategic because I was like, certain things never went back to what it was. It's not like we were protecting ourselves from like a flesh-eating disease, but they still never reverted back to cashless. Like a lot of
Okay.
places remain cashless.
Right. And now you see what I'm saying? They changed the ideology. That's all it is. That's all. And it just wanted you to change your ideology, but they gotta herd people through these so-called black swan events.
Even like
What's a black swan event?
So it's to keep you looking at certain things. Like the biggest one right now is the P. Diddy thing. Everybody's looking at that, but then looking at, other things. Even like the Venezuela, that's a black swan event because people looking at the oil instead of the currency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah, I was saying like the like their whole GDP is moved by crypto, right? Don't they have like no they don't have a main currency right now. They only use crypto right now, right?
Well, see, now you see what I'm saying. So now everybody's moving forward. Who else do that? El Salvador. You see what I'm saying?
whose GDP is moving from crypto?
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Because they already a digital nation, so they already conforming to the digital nation and virtual country. It's just this old ideology country. It's not valuable anymore, and they just not upholding it anymore because they have no, nobody currency is backed by nothing. And our military, they probably thinking, man, we can't fight America, so hey, just gonna go straight to the digital world, which everything is backed by WA. But that goes into like the SOFR, the secure finance rate, overnight finance rate. I'll get into that later. Like if I probably make that a subject to talk about when it comes to credit, because people still trying to finance stuff. And if you don't have an asset that's equivalent to whatever you financing, you fucking with fire. Excuse my French. Like you really nah. Like you can't just keep borrowing out of thin air anymore. Like they want collateral from a global standpoint. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can get commodities through crypto. You can get gold, silver. You can get land. You can get all of these RWAs, and then you can tokenize them, and that can pledge that towards your. Because even Fannie Mae came out and said, "Hey, we're gonna use XRP to pay for mortgages." So that was huge. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's moving forward. Their ideology is dropping. They're going away from it. So from a retail standpoint, that's why I'm like, hey, people got to just drop this ideology of a dollar is a dollar. It's not that no more. Now it's stable coins, but now you got to choose, or now you got to look at stable coins as it's kind of like GTA. You got all these servers, right? And that's kind of how it's going to be. Like these digital nations and virtual countries, you're moving through them, but you got to be a commodity where your value don't change. It's just the economy changes. And it's not saying this is happening now. It's just it's forming now. But, you know, wherever you at, you'll be a component of the state. Now, the flip side of this coin is the UBI. Because if you ever rode those Uber scooters and all them scooters and stuff with the GPS on it.
Oh yeah, like the Lime and stuff like that downtown.
Right. If you go in certain areas, that scooter will turn off.
Yeah,
It's
geometric
called
fence.
geofencing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So UBI be like that. Like, hey man, you only gonna be able to use this money because it's not forced. It's a volunteer. It ain't like somebody forcing you to be on UBI. You could be self-sufficient, but you gotta apply yourself. But if you gonna sit here and keep getting on food stamps and this and that and that, and this it's gonna be it's kind of like WorldCoin. Like nobody knows that WorldCoin got an office in Atlanta right now.
What you mean, bro? I'm on full stamp. I'm just playing.
So WorldCoin is where they scan your eyes and it's something in your eyes that only you know what I'm saying, only is unique to you. And what's happening is they pegged it to the blockchain and called proof of humanism. But when you do that, they give you a UBI of $50.
Wait, is that real?
Yeah, that's real, man. It was called WorldCoin. It started in like Kenya and all of them, but then they brought it to Austin. They brought it to Atlanta. It's right across the street from that Home Depot of Ponce. So,
They used to
and it's
have
not
something like that at my school. Like to get into the dining hall, you would just put your eyes in front of the scanner and it already knew who you was.
right.
And this was back in 2017, so 2013 and 2017. So
Even the Bank of America patents, right? They
Was that
got that.
travel?
I'm
And the
listening.
same, it
That
sound like the
travel?
same thing like they got cleared, like at the airport too.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Clear airport. That's the first time I seen.
Yeah,
But they tried
yeah.
to get me. They told me, oh, it's complimentary. I said, I don't want it. I'm good.
I didn't even think about that, bro, and I signed up for it.
Right. I'm like, I don't need it.
Just taught
But
me something.
that's
But
why
now,
they trying to do that little $45 fee for the real ID. I'm listening. Whoever said that.
I was gonna say, I think you had mentioned before with Grand Theft Auto. I think that's a good example of where tokenization and borderless payments are going because they're trying to. With the reason why they keep prolonging the game is because they're trying to make it so that you can use GTA like how people use the GTA money to buy things within the game. You can use that to buy things in the real world, like Taco Bell, like things that. So they partner with Taco Bell, local food restaurants, things like that, so that enables people to be able to do things like this. So I just think, this a lot of this is
So
coming faster than what people think, especially with like the USDC gas stations now, because you can't like in some places like they're making it so that you can only use like some form of digital payment in order to pay for things.
right. And then now you see where that meme coin thing come in at. Now you can earn it in GTA. Now you can redeem it in a real Taco Bell.
Mm-hmm.
what? What?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like you can earn something in GTA and like actually redeem it at the Taco Bell from the video
They
game.
partner, they're
Like,
partnered with Taco Bell. So Taco Bell, how they call whatever coin they got, El Grande coin, whatever.
Yeah,
You'll
it's
earn
called
it.
smoke content.
Yeah, you'll earn it in GTA. You'll do missions, whatever, and then you'll have that because it'll be Web3. You know, you go and Taco Bell, scan that QR code, and redeem it. But the reward is the food. But because I have so many people playing GTA and I have so many people eating Taco Bell, that's a lot of energy and people using it. You see what I'm saying?
I also think that's an easy way to start transitioning a lot of those things because I mean, a lot of those guys that do spend that time on GTA and those servers or building their own servers, they literally role play and create real lives inside of the digital world. So it
Right.
kind of makes sense why it would
And
transition extremely easy.
that goes back into what he was talking about with like using your avatars, because like if you they have a thing where you can use your avatar and you can use that with all your digital forms of payments and tag it to like your domain names and things of that nature. So like they're really pushing for this in terms of like making sure that because they can't like leave people behind when they're doing this. You know what I'm saying? They can't just be like, oh, we're doing this now. If you don't get with it, you're getting a UBI. They're trying to make it so like you can use your knowledge base and equip yourself with the tools necessary so you can move within this space.
Right. So that's a great thing, man. And though I say, man, it ain't about the world ending. It's just you got to change with it. But just imagine if you still holding on to the dollar and your 15-year-old son is richer than you because he playing video games. And the currency that you think is fake in that video game, he's manifesting real things out of this video game, like Taco Bell. Like Ferrari accepts Shiba Inu as a coin, as a payment. You see what I'm saying? Meme coin that started now it has so much utility where it's not a meme coin anymore because of
Which
that
one is that?
community of people that love Shiba Inu, not Ferrari. You could buy Ferrari with Shiba Inu. So,
Hmm.
floor is open for questions. You know what I'm saying? That's my time. I ain't trying to go over. So, it's open for questions if anybody have any questions.
Good, bro.
And I think now is the time to start like really asking questions because things are starting to happen, and I feel like we're too old to be like, oh man, I'm shy. No, everybody's gonna be affected by this, so we need to start actually talking. Like, if no question is dumb, like, because I don't know everything, and I may seem knowledgeable, but I don't know everything. But if I can help you, that's basically what I'm saying. I really want to help people, but I don't know if you need help. But you need to ask questions if you do have questions.
This may not be something we have enough time for today, but I was thinking maybe you could go more into detail about tokenization because that's something that's going to be huge in terms of just being able to understand where the crypto is going and where you can take your fiat and use it as opposed to like getting it used without your permission, with name, image, and likeness and whatnot.
I'm thinking tokenization is too huge for this. I'm not gonna say that. I will talk about it, but it's more like it's like an onion. You know what I mean? It's so many layers to it that we'll be here all day talking about it. But then again, it's like I don't want to destroy nobody's ideology. I want people to start evolving. So I don't want to scare any people into the layers because the first layer is payments. Then the second layer is going to be the value of whatever you have being transferred to the blockchain, which is tokenization. But it's like I don't want the people to be like, oh man, the world ended. No, it's just changing. That's all it is. Just changing.
I got a
But
question.
I'm listening.
I'm kind of late hopping in, but I just want your thoughts on ISO 222. What you think about that, and when it comes to payments and money and stuff like that?
I'm gonna give you the crypto bro ideology if you have that, but also I'm just answering straight up. So this whole thing about ISO 22, it's a million ISOs out there, right? But
What's
this one in particular,
ISO?
say it again.
What's an ISO? You said it's a million ISOs. What is that?
So ISO is just a standard from the Swift. If you know what Swift is, right?
I guess that's the payment system.
Right, the payment system. So, but there's different ISOs, like ISO, like you got ISO 5001, and I got at my job we use these cocoa bags to grow, and it's called ISO 9001. I think I got a picture of it. So it's different ISOs from a global standpoint, and from that 222, people think it's just a small smidget of what things are, because BRICS and all these other countries are trying to get off Swift. They're not trying to be affected by Swift because America used Swift to bully these countries. So what's happening is Swift is just moving the payment rails from analog to digital. So instead of, let's say, the automated clearinghouse, if you get paid Friday, you get paid every Friday. Instead of you getting paid on Friday, you probably get paid every 30 seconds because everything is on the blockchain. Everything is undisputed, is irreversible through KYC. So it's not like you can be like, man, that wasn't me. It's everything KYC. So nothing is, you can't reverse nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going, it's a great thing, but the thing is, from a retail standpoint, it has nothing to do with nothing with retail. Nothing. It's all banking. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna make nobody rich. It ain't gonna be like, oh man, it's gonna make me a millionaire. That's not the case, because none of these cryptos gonna have USD value. Because it's gonna,
So you don't think it's top? Cause I just see a lot of crypto people talk about ISO 222, especially
right,
when it's tied to like XRP,
right.
XCN,
So
XDC, and all this stuff.
that's
So you don't
that.
think it's really gonna work with that?
No, it is, but that's that crypto bro ideology. What I mean by crypto bro ideology is, and I don't think I'm talking about you. I'm just saying, I just hate the ideology of people thinking, oh, once this turn on, XRP finna go to $10,000 a piece. So think about that.
Yeah,
Think
that's
about
not
that.
gonna happen.
But just think about that. Let's just say it does, right? If XRP, whatever it is, XDC, HBAR go to $10,000. Crypto is a commodity. A commodity has a negative correlation to the economy. So if something that cheap goes that high, what does that say about the economy? You see what I'm saying?
That was good. That was a good comparison. That made sense to me.
Right. So it's killing the dollar. So the fact that it's killing the dollar now. So now why are you celebrating something that's killing your ideology? Because all you're gonna do is, oh man, once it go to $10,000, I'm gonna sell it back to USD. That's retarded, because we're leaving USD. Leave it in there and use it. But now you got to know how to use it. So now instead of people focus on ISO, go learn how to read white papers. Like, that's the bottom line. If you know how to read white papers, then you'll be like, oh, I'm not going to use the crypto. I'm not going to use Quant. I ain't going to build nothing on no motherboard on nothing. That ain't me. Because I'm probably in the future, but that ain't me. I'm not going to use, what's the crypto people get? XRP. I'm not going to use it until I'm accredited. Then I'll look into it. But right now, it's like, it's not for retail. And the fact that retail say that, oh man, XRP is not meant for retail. So why are we buying it? You see, and I'm not trying to,
That reason that a lot of people are talking about it.
because they looking at it like it's not meant for retail. Once institutions start using it, it's going to increase the USD value of it. But like I say, if the USD value increases to that, what does that say about your economy? What that says about your job? What that says about your food security? Like, everything gonna be in shambles. You see what I'm saying?
Also, people, when they're discussing this, a lot of times treat it as like a security. Like,
Right.
oh, when it goes for 10,000, I'm gonna cash it out for 10,000 USD dollars. When that's not the case,
That's retarded.
because like like he's saying with the correlation. So like, if it's worth $10,000, that means that my USD is probably not worth shit. Or I'm sorry for cursing and stuff, but yeah,
No,
it's probably not worth it.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with USD ever. It has everything to do with the payment system. But that doesn't mean that ISO is not good. It's just it's not good for retail because you won't see the value in the use case of it because you're not accredited or you're not an institution. Like it's people that don't even got bank accounts that's talking about ISO. People don't even know how to use a wallet. They don't even know how to go into DeFi and they talking about ISO. You know what I'm saying? So, XRP gonna be pegged to gold. No, it ain't gonna be like that. Because tokenization has nothing to do with one unified currency. That's not what's gonna happen. It's gonna be one global economy and everybody gonna be interoperable. But you have to make your stuff a commodity.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna go back to what Ballaholic said about I know you said it's steps to it and the onion and all that. So definitely at some point, because I know you said you ain't got time, which is okay, but creating
what,
something, a discussion around tokenization for sure.
right. Okay.
To truly go in depth about
Who
tokenization.
said who asked that ISO question?
That was Sir.
Oh, this is I'm Calvin.
Okay.
Sir Alpha.
Did I answer your question though?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. You gave me a different way to look at it, especially when it comes to it's the ISO 222 regulation more so geared towards institutions and not retail. But just hearing you talk, it made me feel like, and what I kind of already feared, crypto is leaving retail and only serving institutions. And it's
But you
like,
don't have to.
And accredited investors.
You don't have to be. You know what I say? You don't got to be retail. You can be accredited through your valuation or your knowledge. So start looking at the Series 65.
say that again. Start looking at what?
The Series 65.
Series 65. Okay.
So that's the series test that you could take to be accredited with the SEC. Once you're accredited, now you'll have access to these private markets and private stocks and things of that nature. But again, I'm just trying to kill that crypto bro ideology that crypto is a security from a Howey test. Like, ISO gonna make crypto go crazy. No, if crypto does go crazy, that means economy. Like, I'll give you an example right now. If I just told you commodities are, and don't think I'm coming at you. We're just having a discussion. So forgive me if I'm aggressive, whatever.
Oh no, you opened me up to a different way of thinking. I appreciate it. Keep
Right.
going.
So let's look at silver right now. At 2005, silver was $5, right? So now silver is $80 right now, average. So what does that say about the economy? Did silver change or did the value change? If the value change, it's because of inflation. So if inflation rose silver up that high, from a negative standpoint, that means the economy is fucked right now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now you got to look at crypto the same way because crypto is finna destroy the dollar, meaning you can't value crypto based on USD because it was meant to replace USD, not be interoperable with USD. And that's why when he said, "Hey, Venezuela is most of their GDP is in crypto or blockchain," is because, hey man, this USD economy we got that's pegged to this USD it's in shambles. So we need to move forward. You see what I'm saying? So that's all it's about. And when you come to crypto, all right, I'm gonna say this: when it comes to picking cryptos, don't look at ISO. Don't listen to financial influences. Like you probably come across cryptos and this and that and that. Read the white papers, the partnerships. What is it used for? And if you're gonna remain a crypto, not a crypto bro, but what you call that? A retail investor. You're gonna remain a retail investor. Start focusing on commodities from the Clarity Act. Start looking at, okay, let me get into decentralized payments and stablecoins. Let me stop looking at securities from the Clarity Act. So let me stop getting into XRP because XRP has nothing to do with cross-border payments. It has everything to do with tokenization. Because if you look, every company XRP bought was an asset management company. It wasn't no API company or nothing. It's a asset management company, meaning tokenization. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's all it's about. And that's not me saying XRP is not going to be a great project. It is. But once you're accredited, you don't got to get XRP. You can invest straight into Ripple Net.
Like I'm gonna give an example for myself. I used to be very heavily invested into like H bar. For the same reasons like that he asked about for like ISO 22. I'm thinking like, all right, this is gonna be the new regulatory system, things of that nature. But when I started reading the Clarity Act, I started realizing that H bar isn't a commodity; it's a security underneath the Clarity Act. So by me knowing that, I don't have to have like hundreds of thousands of H bar in order to be able to move within the crypto realm that I would like to, the way I would like to. And knowing that it's security, knowing that H bar isn't going to be something that people use for payments, but it's going to be used for a settlement layer for what people are going to use for payments
Right.
and how the infrastructure is going to be built on it. So that's something like, when you're looking at the projects that you look for in terms of like, your use case and application for it. Because sometimes like there's a lot of things out there that like you can see a use case for yourself, but like is it gonna be something that you realistically can see yourself actually putting like effort into, like building something on, or even like getting paid through it? Some people like, wouldn't know how to get paid in USD through, other like staking protocols and things like that. So, but you just have to know these things. And I mean, reading the white papers is a good way to do it. But also another way of doing it is just by actually like, what I'm saying, going out there, using what it says it's used for. Like if it's used for, like, for example, uh, uh, my girl's family is in El
You kind of breaking up, bro.
Salvador, and so they use the Chivo wallet out there. So for us, we send out
Damn.
XLM
They
and
use Sheba
things like
wallet
that when
in
they
El
need things
Salvador.
for like household necessities and things like that.
They're
I'm
using
sorry, I couldn't hear.
Sheba wallet in El Salvador.
Like that was a use case I didn't know.
But that's good that all these countries are using these tokens. El Salvador, I guess. Not Bitcoin, but Sheba. They use Sheba tokens.
Hey, Miss Tangela.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Continue, Ant.
Oh no, that was it. That's all I got out there and started using it. So start using it.
Do I want to put this much money as opposed to, how much you want to invest in terms of for you by just using it? Like, I know I could use XLM in this way until I started doing.
Right. So that's the use case, and that's the biggest thing. But see how you don't have that ideology of a security, like, oh man, I'm gonna put it in here, and then when they go up, I'm gonna sell it. No, I'm just gonna use it. Now they can go buy things. El Salvador is one of the top digital nations in the country, and people thought they was crazy until Bitcoin went to 100K. Now everybody want to go there.
You right, D. Because everybody did thought they was crazy because it was poor, and it's like all of a sudden they all just bought up all this Bitcoin, and you try to figure out how they gonna use it because they was dispersing a lot of it to their people,
Right.
and but the thing of it is, it would have made so much better if it was like XLM or XRP because it's small and
Well,
it is more.
the reason why it's like that because every I know people right now that think all crypto is Bitcoin. So that's all they know, Bitcoin. So they have to do that for the ideology standpoint. It wasn't to get people rich, it's to change the ideology. You got to realize that Salvador don't got a native currency. Their native currency is USD. So they have to get people off that USD ideology. So they got to introduce something else. But Bitcoin is not ran on BTC network, it's ran on Algorand, which is crazy. So now you see why ISO come in at, because Algorand is ISO compliant. So, but they're using payments to build on top of these infrastructures that people think is going to have a high USD standpoint, but it's not the case. And Algorand is a great project if you know what it is and how to use it. Any other questions? I know it's getting kind of late.
One more thing.
Yeah.
As far as how do they scale? I'm because in the back of my mind, because they always tell my because Bitcoin can't scale. How do they go about scaling it?
So scaling is just use case. So basically,
Okay,
it's
okay,
like,
got you.
yeah,
Okay,
just use case. It ain't
okay.
about uh how many people using it. That's all it is. It's kind of like everybody using the same Wi-Fi. Think about it like that. If your Wi-Fi ain't strong enough for 100,000 people to use it, you need to go upgrade your Wi-Fi. So that's how these blockchains work. But that's why most of these majority of these well, let's say 95% of these blockchains is proof of stake. So they don't got to worry about energy like Bitcoin does.
Do me one favor.
Mhm.
Explain it on the difference between proof of stake and proof of work.
So proof of stake is just, let's say you got 100 million coins. They mint it instantly right now, but it's controlled through the treasury of whoever the developer issuers are. So you probably have this developer holding half of the supply and then dishing out the supply gradually to secondary markets or institutions. So that's how that works. Proof of work is you have to mine it. So you got to do all these equations with these computers and this and that. And that's why you got all these Bitcoin farms and stuff like that to where they mine it. But it costs
Right,
a lot of energy.
with a lot of energy. Yeah, okay, I got you. Okay.
So, but I think that's what's gonna make Bitcoin powerful because of the energy. They can sell their energy to other, especially harvesters. If they got a solar farm, they can harvest that and sell it. But they can use their energy and peg it to Bitcoin. Like you only can pay for this energy with Bitcoin. So that can be where Bitcoin can get some type of use case. But when it comes to payments and scales, I don't think Bitcoin going to have not the coin, but the network. So the coin gonna always be the coin, but the network ain't gonna be worth anything to use. Any other questions? Well, that's my time, you guys. Thank you for the sounds. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, that's my time, man.
I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. So,
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you,
Thank you,
Appreciate
bro.
it.
D. Thank you, D.
yes, man.
Thank you, D.
Thank you, D.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
All right, D, how baby?
Was doing it wrong.